one of the big questions that many businesses have when it comes to implementing any kind of generative AI is the whole question about hallucinations. And hallucinations are compounded, I suppose, when you're trying to take actions as well, because it's not just content. It's retrieving data from business systems, it's authenticating customers, it's doing things that are dealing with real numbers and things that could affect people's lives. As I mentioned, like, applying for a passport and authenticating that passport, or applying for a mortgage agreement in principle, or, freezing a credit card, or, when you get to these serious kind of use cases, how are the ways in which you can mitigate the risk of things going wrong in that agentic world?
It's a really good question, and it just requires a lot of manual inner QA often, just like you would do to a human agent. You want to make sure they're saying the right things. What's nice about agentic AI is once you train it and you have it doing the right things, it won't make the same mistake twice because you have testing around it, and also it never quits. You don't have staff turnover with agentic AIs; they don't go anywhere. But also, the other thing you need to consider is bias as well. And so this is just a manual review. If you have human agents, you definitely have a QA department probably overseeing the human agents and checking quality and making sure that they're on brand and doing all the quality stuff. Same thing applies to agentic AI. That's why you want to grow this thing over time. Have you give it more agency, make sure you trust it. But there's also bias as well. And that's something I think that's kind of overlooked a lot. If the AI has been trained like historical data where refunds were most likely denied to customers from a specific geographic region, let's say, or demographic, consciously or not, the system will inherit that bias. Maybe the AI learns that certain customer types, say a younger tech-savvy individual, are less likely to escalate problems. It may deprioritize our issues, even though there's urgent need for help. Bias can just creep in lots of ways through the training or to the data that we give to the agentic AI. That we may not even be aware, but the agentic AI will kind of surface those patterns, and we need to make sure not only is it not hallucinating, but it's also unbiased as well. And sometimes that is overlooked, but that's also just manual QA where you could apply a large language model. Sometimes we'll do this you have the output, and we take another large language model and we look at the output in real time, and it's giving us bias detections and things like that. It's a pretty advanced topic, but yeah, to answer your question, Ken, you got to trust these things, and you got to build them over time to make sure they're doing what you need in the right, safe way.